And the bad news is Derek Gordon Heggie, yes, Decca Heggie, Dirty Desmond, has approached a friend of mine, a promoter, in the process of trying to make a fight that is never going to happen, a fight that he has no intentions of actually going through with, a fight that he has no hope of winning. There's many layers to this, so I'm going to start at the beginning. There's not been much to talk about over the last week, but a friend of mine who's a serious promoter in the bare knuckle world, obviously not anything to do with BKFC because they won't touch Derek with a barge pole, not Stephen Hanks, obviously I've never actually spoke to Jim Freeman before, so it's none of the big three, but someone who's got a decent little promotion, who's been involved in the bare knuckle scene for a very, very long time, since the very early days, who's worked with Deca on a couple of occasions before, and I'm not going to name him for privacy purposes. But he's reached out to me a few days ago, and he said, because I've spoken to him before, obviously previously, are you in contact with Danny Christie? Because I wasn't going to even bother saying anything, because I know it's probably going to be a no. He doesn't want to give Deca a payday, but can you ask him, because there's an offer there, basically. Because Deca has been on my case about it a couple of times. And I said, oh, mate, I don't even really want to ask him, to be fair. I know it's going to be a no, and he's probably just going to go around there and punch his head in if I do tell him. But I said, all right, no worries, I will do it. So the answer was what you can imagine what we thought it was. And the promoter was just like, mate, I didn't even want to ask, but there was an approach for some money, and if we could get it over the line, it would have been really good content, yada, yada, yada. And the answer was a firm, obviously, no, I don't want to give him a payday. I've said it numerous times, no interest in it, but I'll go around and punch his head in on his doorstep if he wants. So we all knew that was going to be the response. Deca obviously doesn't actually want the fight. And I think the time when the offer was actually made in the first place was around the time he brought out the video, hello guys, this is the hardest video I've ever had to make. That one, yeah. Which was heavily scrutinised by most people on YouTube. And the question, what makes me think, because he obviously doesn't want this fight, because all he has to do is make one video, because he's been put on manners, put on blast. He's not allowed to make any videos, so all he has to do is make a video and say Danny's name, and he can have the fight. He can have it for free. It's 5 minutes away from his. He's got someone who he claims has made up lies about him, yada yada yada, and destroyed his reputation and his life. Nothing to do with what he's actually done, obviously, or anything that he's actually been accused of, or anything like that. Just because this other guy said bad stuff about me, and he could just have the fight. He could have it there. He could have it in his bedroom if he wanted, but in his back garden. But he wants to then go, even though he's terrified, too scared to actually say Danny's name online. He'll happily call up Dr. Ratpool and it'll be Prime Fighter and JDP in the comment section, but he won't say the man whose name that he wants to make the rematch with, but he's actually too scared to have the rematch. I don't understand it myself. I wasn't even going to bother making a video about it, but I just thought, I've been thinking about it. I just thought, how delusional is this bloke? Like, what is going on in his head? He needs. Hopefully he hears this, so he can just have a look at himself in the mirror and just go, mate, what am I doing? He was obviously it was around that time when he was in a bad way, in a bad place. So he's obviously either drugged out of his mind, drunk, whatever else, or he's just delusional and he thinks that he could actually get fit and he could actually have a square go with anyone. With anyone at the minute is madness, let alone a fit, strong, active fighter. And I know I'm going to get everyone in the comments saying, oh, fit Deca does, Danny, you don't know what you're talking about, or you've made this up. Like, I'm not saying the promoter's name just for privacy reasons, because I haven't told him that I'm going to make a video and I don't want to put his name out there if he doesn't want to be out there. But yeah, it's there. And if he then gets back to me and says, oh, mate, I don't care, I may even put the voice notes up or something so you can see the evidence. But obviously it's not, I wouldn't do that without asking, without being told I could. But yeah, Deca, What are you up to? What's going through your head? Why don't you, Deca, you've been offered to a fight by JDP. Why don't you try and have the scrap with JDP? See how you get in. See if you can get fit. See if you can get off the drugs. But you're too scared to even get back to him. You've had fight offers of Brett Mays, Shadow Boxer in the last 6 months, and it's just madness. So why are you going out of your way, wasting the promoter's time, in so facto wasting my time, and then wasting Danny's time when he's just round the corner, and you could quite easily just make a little video and just say, come round and be there in the blink of an eye, or just look in your mirror, spin round 3 times and say, Danny Christie, Danny Christie, Danny Christie, and he will be there. Anyways, boys, let me know what you think down below. Is he delusional, delirious, drugged up, crazy, psychosis? Does he actually want it? I doubt it. Could he ever get fit again? I doubt it. Thanks for watching. Adios, la boche.